Now for exercise 2 here in chapter 1, what I need you to do is to install the databases and the product samples that we will use throughout the course. However, this ain't going to be easy. Okay, let me just go ahead and tell you, if you don't have analysis services installed, you can't participate yet. Okay. Number two, even if you have analysis services installed and SQL Server and reporting services, you're probably going to run into some roadblocks somehow, somewhere. So I'm telling you this up front because there's going to likely be some frustration. I've tried very hard to make that as little to impact as few people as possible. However, it just is what it is. Microsoft has made the product sample part of the product complicated, way too complicated. It doesn't ship with the product anymore, and then don't get me started on the rant here. But so it's going to be a pain. So stop right now if you don't have analysis services installed. Okay, don't even begin. Okay. What you will do, go to chapter 3, watch the videos on installing analysis services, and do that. Okay? Um, so if you have analysis services installed, then continue on with me. If you don't, go install it, come back, come to this point. Okay, so you have analysis services installed, you have your SQL Server installed. I'd like you to also have reporting services installed. Okay, I know that this is not something that you probably came for, at least not everyone. However, reporting services is not required, but given the scenario that we talked about where we had the data entry OLTP, the relational OLAP, the cube OLAP, and then the reporting server, we're going to make heavy use of it. So I'm going to have you install the reporting samples. We're going to work with those when we get into chapter 7. If I'm not mistaken, I think that's our reporting services chapter. So you'll want to do that as well. Now, I've got you covered here, okay? So I just need you to have the products installed, and then I got you with all the samples, okay? So here we go. Let's get started. So what I need you to do, first thing, is locate the zip file that contains the samples. Now the samples, as I mentioned in the earlier lecture, are from the Microsoft CodePlex website. Because it's such a challenging website to use. I have pre-downloaded them, and also so that they are frozen in time, so that there are no changes to what's on the website for guaranteed availability for you. So where these are, they're in the zip file. Wherever you got this video from, if you downloaded it individually, it's in that zip file. If you downloaded the entire chapter, it's in that zip file. If you got this off of a DVD, it's in the folder on the DVD. And like part of the last exercise, I made my course 165 folder and I copied it and I put it in here. So that's the name, course 165 samples.zip. So I need you to extract it. And there's a bunch of stuff in here. So I'm going to go ahead and extract. I'm a fan of WinRAR, so I use that here. Couple of things. You can see it's about 185 meg, 180 meg file. And when we go into the folder, let's take out the details and just give us a list here. Okay, let's talk about what is here, and let's kind of come up with a plan for the installation. Let me get my pen here. What you need to do, this is step number 1. Okay, these are the databases. Okay, so this is the OLTP database, and it is the relational OLAP database. It's not our cube, but it is the information that we will use to build the multidimensional database. We're going to have to actually build that later. Now later on, we're going to come in, get rid of those, come back in, change to a different color, and we're going to talk about what are called the product samples. So you can install those now, but you need to do it after you built your databases. This is your reporting services samples, the integrated samples, the integration services samples, the analysis services samples, the SQL Server database engine samples. Pick your processor architecture, whether it is 32-bit or 64-bit, and then I've got them all zipped up as well. Here's the thing, and I know you're going to want to punch me in the arm when I say this. I can't support you. You get in trouble with these, I can't help you. Okay? These are downloaded from the Codeplex site. I find them terribly confusing, very difficult to use. So here's what my suggestion to you is. Go to your search engine of choice, SQL Server 2008 samples. Right? That's your search term you want to use. Okay? Go to the, for me, it's the first one right here, the MSFT dbprodsamples.codeplex.com. That's what you want. You want a Codeplex website. Over here is the, hey, here's how you do this. Here's how you install it. Here's all the different versions. Okay. However, and again, I'm still having network issues apparently. I had one from a previous video, sorry. But it's confusing. It's a pain, but I didn't pack them. I didn't write them. I didn't do all of this. This was done by the Microsoft team. This is where you get support. If you try to install this and it fails, I'll show you some general troubleshooting as we go through the install, but I probably can't help you too much with that. Okay, because this site is all about how do you install the sample databases, how do you install the product samples, how do you get them up and running. So I'm going to walk you through it. I'm going to give you the basic troubleshooting. I'm going to show you where I've had errors and difficulties in the past. But if it gets beyond that, your best chance of support is probably coming over here and trying to figure out this website. Okay, and look out over there. Somebody said that it's a nice installer. It worked well on their system. So see, it'll work well for you. All right. So I'm closing this out. So step one, here's what I want you to do. Now that you have everything installed, I want you to go use this. This is the samples refresh 4, SR4. So let's go through it. So it's just a zip file. Some of this I may end up kind of zooming over if it gets to where this kind of stuff takes too long, the self-extracting stuff. Let's just kind of see what it does first here. I don't know how long it's going to take. So let's see. Okay, here we go. Scroll up, accept your EULA, say next. And I do like the parts of the installer here because you can see very quickly what's going on. Ready to install. Yes, you love to see ready to install. Because I promise you, a lot of you watching the videos won't see ready to install. You will not have done something. You will not have a feature installed that needs to be installed. Okay. This is the perfect screen. Makes you want to hug the screen and say thank you. This is exactly what you want. Okay. Manual deploy via bids. This is how you're going to get your cube built. Okay, so these are our relational OLAP databases that are going to be placed into the cube. We're going to use integration services. We're going to build the cube with these. Here is our ROLAP database that will be applied to our SQL Server. Here is the location that the files will be placed. Okay, notice it is in the tools/samples. Which instance do you want to attach these databases to? The default instance here. Okay, let's talk troubleshooting. Okay, first off, I want you to go run this file. I want you to get to this screen. So go do that now and come back here when you've got that screen ready. Or don't and just listen. Let me keep going. Okay, so did you get the same screen where it was ready to install? Okay, because I'm guessing that more than 50% of the people that are watching this video did not get that same screen. What you will often find on this screen is that you're not able to install because you are missing some of the features. To be able to install some of the databases, we have to have a couple of things enabled. You have to have file stream enabled. You have to have the full text search installed. Okay? So if you go to chapter 3, in chapter 3, I want to say it's the fourth video. It's the one where we actually do the install. I walk you through what steps you need to install so that you will have the proper settings so that you'll be able to do this. Um, if you are not able to install it, there will be a little bitty link over on the right hand side over here that will say more information, and then you can click it and it will give you the information, and it'll show you notice it links us directly to the Codeplex, and it walks you through the steps on how to configure it. Not that challenging, but I would suggest you watch, maybe you have to skip forward to the fourth video in chapter 3 and then come back and finish out with chapter 2 and the rest of it, just so that you can get to this point. But again, you should already have done the install of analysis services before you get here anyway. Okay, so I have everything ready and I say install. And that's really what I do. And it's going through and installing, and I messed it up by moving the window there, but it is doing the install just as we had hoped that it would. You could see the database. I wish I hadn't have moved it. Let's see if I can do this and bring it back. There we go. If you follow along in this little screen right here, it will show you the progress, and you can see the script. It will be creating the table. It'll be loading it with data from a CSV file. But I'm going to let it finish, and I'll see you here in just a minute when it completes. Everything was perfect. If you just do the install where you go through and you enable the file stream and you do the full text search and you install all the core products, that's pretty much the basics that you need to do. So I say finish. I'm good to go. By the way, this was on the developer edition. And I have to remember, I can't remember whether I'm on 32-bit or 64-bit. I want to say I'm 32-bit. With virtual machines, things you can do so much. You can make it one thing or another. Let's see here, 32-bit operating system. So I'm going to choose the x86 product samples. And that's it. Just go through and extract, do the installer. The zip file is for those of you who have trouble with the installer. Notice the location is the same one that the database samples were. So I say next. So if your installer fails for whatever reason, then this zip file has all of those same things just in a zipped up fashion. Okay? So the installer doesn't do anything really fancy. Okay? It's just a convenient way to get it onto your hard drive. But that's it. Okay? That's all you need. Let's go on to chapter 2.